order of operations. So just like it is titled, we're going to be talking about the order that you do all of the operations. What are the operations? They are adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. So there's a certain order you have to do these in order to get the answer correct. Okay, so you're probably already thinking, you know this. We're talking about Pemdas. All right, so let's just talk about what these letters stand for and why I wrote them the way I did. So P is going to stand for parentheses. So if there's parentheses, you have to do what is in there first. Then we have exponents. Then the next thing is multiply or divide, whichever one you see first from left to right. All right, and then the last one is add or subtract, whichever one you see first from left to right. Now, some of this may seem like review, but we're going to talk about a few specific examples here. We're going to talk about exponents, and we're going to talk about something called the division bar, which kind of combines parentheses and division. So you'll see. So let's just skip down to some examples here. Okay? So let's say our first example. 2 plus 7 times 8. What would you do first to solve this problem? Careful. You've got adding, you've got multiplying. Really, you should do the multiplying first. So you should do 7 times 8 is 56. Right? If you did the 2 plus 7 first, you would get 9 times 8, 70. That would be wrong. So you really got to be careful. Don't just start doing the math. You kind of have to zoom out, see what's going on here. All right, let's try one with parentheses here. Let's say 8 plus 3 minus 1 plus 17. So you'd have to do the 3 minus 1 first. Oh, now it's all adding. 10 plus 17. And you would be done. Notice how I am showing my work. There's no equal sign. I'm solving these expressions. You're going to get these cones, and they're going to go down the page like that. Now, let's talk about those exponents that I was talking about. I'm going to give you two examples. Negative 3 to the second power and negative 3 to the second power. These are different. So the first one, the parentheses groups the negative 3, and this problem means negative 3 times negative 3. A negative times a negative is going to give you a positive. Oh boy, those things are coming back. So this answer is positive 9. This problem does not mean the same thing. For this problem, the 2 is only on this 3 right here. All right, so this means you bring down the negative, and it means 3 times 3. Now you can't ignore the negative, it's there, so now you have to think a negative times a positive is a negative. That is a little bit tricky. So if there are parentheses, that whole number becomes the base. So this negative 3 2 times. If there's not, then you just bring the negative down once and go for it. Okay? Try 2 like that on your own. Let's try negative 2 to the third and negative 2 to the third. I want you to write them out and solve them. Go ahead and pause it and try it on your own. Did you pause it? All right, so this first one, you bring down the negative once, it means 2 times 2 times 2. That's negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. Negative 4 times 2, negative 8. This one means negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. A negative times a negative is a positive. Positive times a negative is a negative. Oh, so in this case, we did get the same answer. So sometimes it does work out. You get the same thing. Other times it doesn't. So you got to be careful and write it out the correct way. I want you to always write it out, okay, so I know you understand what it means. Okay, now I said I was going to talk about that division bar too, so let's do a couple like that. All right, so 7. So by division bar, I mean something that looks like, let's see, 8 minus 2 and, I don't know, 1 plus 2 on the bottom. So the division bar kind of is like parentheses. It's grouping the stuff on the top and grouping the stuff on the bottom. Some kids like to write it across, but I'll show you. You can't do this. That is not the same unless you group them like this problem is doing. So this problem is saying 8 minus 2, figure it out, so put it in parentheses, divided by 1 plus 2. I suggest just work with it like this. So I'm going to write it down here again. And for this one, I will let you go across. So 8 minus 2, that's 6, put it up there. 1 plus 2 is 3, put it down there. Now use the division at the end. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Writing it across gets a little confusing. So I would suggest if you see a division bar, just leave it. Okay, you try one. Let's say 10 plus 8 over 3 to the second power. Pause it and give that one a try. All right, hopefully you paused and you got 18 over 9 is 2. Okay, awesome. All right, now there's one last thing that I want to go over, and that is when there's variables. So using variables. So when we get to class, the next class, we're going to practice things. I'm going to tell you what some of the variables are. So let's say let x equals 3, y is negative 2, and w is 4. Okay, then the problem I'm going to give you, what are we up to, 9, will look something like this. 4x plus 2y. Now, your job is to show the process of how you're getting this right. So the first thing you have to do is you have to sub in these numbers for these letters. Just like in gym class, when you sub in, you're like, hey, you're out, I'm in. That's what the 3 is saying to x. It's saying, x, you're out, I'm in. Go get a water break. And then this one, negative 2 is going in for y. Y, you're out, I'm in. And I want you to show that line. Now, that's not really any math. That's just subbing it in, switching things out. But that will get you credit on a quiz or a homework. Now you look at it and try to do the math. Okay, what's going on here? I've got multiplying, adding, and multiplying. I have to do the multiplying first. So 4 times 3 is 12. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Uh-oh, remember how to do this? Are the signs the same or are they different? They're different, so you really subtract and you get 8. It's a positive 8 because the 12 is positive and it's bigger than the 4. Oof. All right, try one on your own here. Let's say, I don't know. How about wy minus 8x? Go ahead and pause that one and give it a try. So that's 4 times negative 2 minus 8 times 3. That's negative 8 minus 24. Ew. I'm going to do keep, change, change. Now I can do it. The signs are the same. I'm going to add those together, and I get negative 32. Nice. All right, you're doing good. 2 more problems. And I am, of course, trying to trick you. Let's do x to the second power and y to the second power. Let me move it up here so you remember what they are. So x is 3, y is -2. Go ahead, sub in, and try to get the answer. You can pause. Okay, let me show you how I'm going to sub in. Whenever there's an exponent, I'm going to put parentheses. Now in this problem, they don't make a difference because parentheses with 3 squared is the same. We should get the same answer, no problem. This one, it's going to cause a problem because this wants whatever y is to the second power. Y is -2. The only way to show the whole -2 is to the second power is to put it in parentheses. Now you have a -2 times a -2, that's a +4. See, if you didn't put parentheses, you should get a -4. That's not right. Okay, so if there is an exponent, you have to remember to put the parentheses. I'm going to star this one and point to the parentheses when there's an exponent. All right, that's one that you have to remember. All right, good job, guys.